magic mushrooms. Shrooms, okay? Alright guys, just got done with a great day at church. Saw a cousin that I haven't saw in years. Saw her today. Everything was great. Now let's talk about a time I took magic mushrooms. A drug that was used in Spain and Algeria 10,000 years ago in psychedelic rituals where they would take this, mushroom and, trip out and go into the spirit realm. Well, that was 10,000 years ago. So let's talk about when the mushrooms made it, into the future, 9,000 years back into the future, to a little boy in Arizona who had a friend named Psycho who did drugs all the time. He did drugs all the time. I'm not gonna lie, I did them all the time too. One day, he's telling me, Psycho runs up to me, he says, "Sel, I have someone who could give some mushrooms." I know the first thing about mushrooms, I didn't know the second thing about mushrooms, I just knew that it was gonna make me feel funny. Gave him a $20 bill, comes back an hour later, we have this bag full of little dried up of shrooms. He takes half, I take half, put them in his own mouth, and that's it. Just ate them, swallowed them. Peace out, man. You go your way, I go my way. For some reason, we didn't stick it out together. 15 minutes into it, I'm feeling a little drunken feeling that you get whenever you're first starting to get buzzed. But then it smacked me like a hammer. A whole nother level, y'all. Now, for those of you who have done magic mushrooms before, know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? It puts you inside this whole other world where you literally feel like you're an angel. I remember whenever it first started kicking in for me, I was walking around outside, and I was walking past schools, and I was walking past buildings, and I remember hearing people's wind chimes. The houses, were miles away, and I could hear chimes and just ching, 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 ching. And I remember there being a school, 100 feet surrounding me, and I could hear the little kids laughing and playing and just hee hee. I was hearing that, and I could hear every sound was just amplified inside of me, and I feel like I knew everything. If you had given me a pen and a piece of notebook paper, I could have written you down the meaning of life right there. At that moment, I knew the meaning of life. I was an angel. Now the downside to this is that the adverse effect of it is once you go there, about two hours. It's after 2 hours of being in this psychedelic state, I didn't like it anymore, and I started letting myself think crazy thoughts, and it started getting real bad. Okay, I had a bad trip. They call it a bad trip. I was getting depressed. I don't even know how to explain it. And to tell you the truth, folks, I don't remember it all that well. I just remember feeling like I was gonna be that way forever. Like this is it. I'm gonna feel like this forever. That I'm stuck on this psychedelic, euphoric, unexplainable plane of mushroom land. Okay, I thought I was gonna be like it forever. No one could tell me otherwise. I remember walking, towards my apartment building, and some guys were, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" Started trying to be, nice to me, and I remember just walking past them, just staring at them, and I think to this day that I look stupid as heck whenever I did that. They're probably still thinking, 10 years later, they're thinking about that little Mexican dude was looking at him like a creep whenever they asked him how he was doing. That's how bad it was, folks. And I remember walking inside of my house, and I remember not even being able to look my parents inside the eyes. I remember my dad was trying to talk to me, and I couldn't physically say anything back to him. It's not that I didn't want to talk. And it's not that I didn't want to act normal. I could not physically say anything back. My dad had wrestling on Monday night, because the Monday Night Raw was on. I could not say anything to them. My mom would try to talk to me. They both knew I was probably freaking on something, okay? Now, this mushroom, like I said, is 10,000 years old. The Spaniards have pictures of it edged inside the little rock things that they used as TVs back then, where they didn't have TVs, so they had to use little rock things that move and move and move. The Spaniards had that on there. And then I guess it was to represent the little rituals. I don't know what kind of rituals they're doing, because when you take them things, it's going on to a whole other level. And I found out, being a Christian, that whenever I did take those mushrooms, I was on another level. I remember reading this book called "He Came to Set the Captives Free," and then this woman named Elaine, she used to be a witch. And she says her and her little Klansmen, I don't know if you call them Klansmen, the KKK, I'm sorry, I guess, I don't know if you call them Klansmen, but her and the little Klansmen of this little witch project would take mushrooms and put them on a state to where they could see Satan, and they could feel basically the third eye will be revealed. The third eye being the spiritual being will be revealed, and they'd be able to see through that. You know, instead of being just a human witch, they want us to be dancing fairy witches, I guess, and that's what they were. Funny as it might sound, and as hilarious as it might be, I promise you, like, I was feeling like I was an angel. People like, but the downside to that is that for the next 2 days, I was in a deep, just depressive state. That night, after everything was done, and I was on my my little bed, my little couch, going to sleep. You know, just being all ashamed of myself and thinking I was gonna be depressed forever. Because after I felt like I was gonna be euphoric and in an ugly world forever, that goes away. But then you're sitting there depressed for some reason. I guess chemicals in your brain are off balance. I felt like I was gonna be depressed forever, just for a whole night, just for a night. And then the next day, you still have some of that lingering depression, and it was an impending sense of doom is what it was, an impending sense of doom. Go out and try shrooms, please.
Go out and try shrooms, please.
No, I'm just playing. No, what I would say is some of you wouldn't even imagine to have touched it or to touch it, ever would touch it. So that's not even a joke to make, but some of you are maybe too young to even know what mushrooms are, and they got all kinds of stuff and bath salts. And part of the reason why I'm so spiritually close to God is probably because I've been to that side so much. I've only done it once though, but when I say that side, I mean I've seen a lot of good things. I've seen a lot of bad things, more good things than bad. I've seen miracles happen. I've seen people change. I've seen change inside me that I never thought was going to be possible. Back then, I had nothing to lose at all. Now I have a family, and I decided that you want to hear that story. I wish I had more vivid details. I just remember there being colors that even be able to begin to describe what colors they were, because they weren't purple, they weren't green, they weren't anything, but they were beautiful, the most beautiful colors in the whole world. You know, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. All right, it wasn't good, but they're the most beautiful colors in the world. Like this video. I know it's a little bit short. Like and subscribe. The next video, if y'all want to hear about it, I might be talking about my sleep paralysis. I've been having sleep paralysis for like months now, doggone months, and it's getting pretty annoying. And I guess it's something I'm getting used to now, but it's something that I struggle with. It's something that I pray about every night. Some nights it isn't there. Some nights it is. Some days I'm taking a nap, and there I am, just paralyzed, not going anywhere. I'm looking at Anna's foot in my face. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe. This was I Started a Joke, folks.